Well, good evening. At this time, we'll officially call our meeting to order. Renee, show all board members present. And if you would, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Board, at this time, it's necessary for us to go through our reorganization process, and I would like to ask for nominations for President of the Board. Are there nominations?
Yeah, I would like to nominate Ms. Gilkey to retain the position of Board President for the 2013 year.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll close nominations for the office of President. I would need a motion at this time.
Motion.
Mr. Satterley makes the motion for Ms. Gilkey to be President of the Board. Do I have a second? Ms. Botoff-Perkins, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Congratulations, Ms. Gilkey.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your faith in my ability, and I promise to work hard to continue to represent our board well. Thank you very much. At this time,
and I'm just going to say, and thank you, her family's hiding out there somewhere for letting her put up with all this extra work and time and effort. I know her daughter's back there. I think I saw her husband there. Maybe he ran out.
My daughter's here on her birthday, so she's really making a sacrifice to be here. Thank you, sweetie.
Happy 20th.
Yeah.
At this time, we'll open up nominations for Vice President.
I'd like to make a motion that Mr. Pavey retain the position as Vice President for the year 2013.
All right. Any other nominations? All right. Is there a motion, Mr. Satterley?
So moved.
And I'll be glad to make that second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, 7-0. And finally, we need to nominate a secretary for 2013.
I'll nominate Mr. Satterley for that position.
Thank you, Mr. White. Is there any other nominations? Mr. White, would you like to make that in the form of a motion?
I will. Consider it made, please.
Thank you. And is there a second? Mrs. Kraft, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, 7-0. Great. Moving on. We've got some appointments tonight as well. Our treasurer and deputy treasurer. And in the past, the treasurer has always been our CFO, and deputy treasurer has always been the secretary to the CFO. So tonight, we need an appointment to treasurer of Dr. Tom Dykle. Is there a nomination or motion? I'm sorry.
Move to appoint Tom Dykle as treasurer.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right.
3 seconds.
3 seconds. All right. Any discussion? All in favor? All right. 7-0. And then deputy treasurer, like to nominate Joni Roberts. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any discussion? All right. All in favor? And that's also unanimous. Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to board salutes. And Mr. Satterley, since the first one is New Washington, would you like to take that?
Sure. Bailey's not. Is she here? No.
Yep, she's here.
There, back there. You were hiding behind Mr. Gilkey a minute ago. So.
Let's get her up here.
What? Oh yeah, Bailey. You.
Walk forward, Bailey.
I'll wait. Well, the board salutes Bailey Minnick, a New Washington High School junior who is currently enrolled in TV broadcasting at Jefferson High School, for being one of the 5 finalists for TV Journalism 101 project. For the 4th year in a row, Fox 41 News has teamed up with 6 area high schools for the TV Journalism 101, a project designed to encourage future broadcast journalists in the region and train them in techniques they'll need for future careers. Journalism students from participating schools, including Jeff High, produced a news story on an issue of local interest, and a mentor from the WDRB News Department personally advised and assisted them throughout the project. Bailey's video entry highlighted the story of New Washington Middle High School Assistant Principal Carla Hobson, who lost her home during the March 2nd Southern Indiana tornadoes. And congratulations, Bailey.
You can't escape that back. Bailey, it's an honor on behalf of our board and our central office team to issue you this certificate of recognition, something we hope that recognizes your achievement, but also I want to let you know how much I appreciated the production of Bah Humbug that I happened to see in your role in that. You did a great job, and it was an honor for me to be there with some of my family members. And Carla Hobson is here, and Carla, thank you for also being here in support of Bailey. But again, thank you very much. We're very, very proud of you.
Is Angelica Kirby here tonight? All right. Well, I'm going to cheat and read this one because Riverside's in my district, and then I'll come up and shake your hand, young lady. The board salutes Riverside Elementary 5th grader Angelica Kirby for her numerous accomplishments in performing arts. During the recent holiday season, Angelica performed in Stage 1 Theater, the best Christmas pageant ever. Angelica is a member of the Louisville Central Community Center and Students' Voice with Gregory Raming as the Kids Art Academy. She has participated in other productions such as the Stage 1 production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Sacred Heart Academy's The Sound of Music, and the Motown Showcase at the Kids Art Academy. Congratulations to Greater Clark's very own star, Angelica Kirby. Favorite part of the meeting. All right, with that, we do need an approval of tonight's agenda. Dr. Mellon, before we do that, do you have any changes that you recommend?
No changes at this time.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley.
Second.
Mr. White.
Mr. White, thank you.
Mr. White made the motion and the board.
Any discussion?
I would like to have the claims pulled for a separate vote, please.
All right, Mr. White, we would be glad to accommodate you on that. So the motion would be to approve tonight's agenda of removing claims for a separate vote from the consent agenda. And that's been seconded. All in favor? All right, 7-0. So next we'll go to approval of minutes from previous meetings. We have an executive session, a regular meeting, and a special meeting.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Is there a second?
I want to try this. I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Pavey. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, 7-0. Thank you. We have no public comments this evening? Okay. We'll go ahead and take the consent agenda minus the claims. We'll go ahead and take claims first, and then we'll vote on the rest of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve claims?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Butoff? Butoff Perkins? Teresa?
Whatever.
TP? All right. And any discussion?
No, I have no discussion. Just one separate vote.
Okay. All in favor? And opposed? And an abstention. All right. So that's 6-0-1. All right. Next we'll take the consent agenda items 2 through 6. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. You go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraft. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, 7-0. And we'll move on to gifts to buildings. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Teresa. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any discussion? Thank you to the Padgetts for their donation to Parkview Middle School. All in favor? All right, 7-0. Thank you. And we'll move ahead to action items. We've got a second reading on policy 5121.
Board, if you remember, a month ago we brought this to you for a first reading, and basically it relates to grading systems, and there's language that currently exists in policy that would require teachers to communicate to parents if a student is failing on a semester basis. But based upon our new impact program, we want that communication to go out more often, more frequently, so would like to change the policy to read on a quarter basis as opposed to semester basis. So that is the only change in the policy as it stands. But again, the thought behind it is we want to make sure that all of our teachers understand the need to communicate when you have a failing student with that parent by the end of each quarter.
I'll move to accept.
Motion to accept, Mr. Satterley. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Hall, thank you. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. How are the parents contacted by the teachers normally?
Normally, it would be by parent phone call, and that's what we're going to be requiring our teachers to do, is that they need to make a contact to make sure that the parent is aware of the concern. Now, once that initial contact is made, a relationship, an emailing type of communication relationship could occur, and that often happens in many cases.
Once it's established.
But it's important that initial contact is a direct between the teacher and the parent, so there's no confusion or misunderstanding.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? All right, 7-0. Thank you. Next we have the superintendent contract addendum. And I'll just say for the record that in November, I believe, we did have a public hearing regarding the proposed contract changes, which is now a statutory requirement, so we have fulfilled that. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll move to accept the changes.
Motion to approve the motion to approve the proposed changes.
To superintendent contract, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Teresa. Any discussion? All right. All in favor? All right. 7-0. Thank you. And next we'll go to resolution on appropriations.
At this point, Board, I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Deichel.
Thank you. This is a normal procedure that we do at the end of the year. When we do our budget for the start of the school year, we have an approved amount, and as we spend it during the course of the year, it may or may not line up with that. So this is giving me permission to basically zero out all these line items, make them back to zero, or approve the expenditures to the appropriation. So it's just a normal every end of the year accounting function.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
And signs here.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, 7-0. Thank you. And Mr. Deichel, you need permission to transfer funds to rainy day?
Yes. Last year, the board was kind enough to let me move some money out of the general fund into the rainy day fund. And now at the end of the year, we found out that we have cash available in other funds that are tax supported. So we're asking permission to move $2,685,000 total from the general fund, debt service fund, capital projects fund, transportation operating fund, and bus replacement fund to the rainy day fund. So that'll build that back up to about 3.8 million, which is a nice amount. And then also in part of this resolution is permission for us to pull out $575,837.20 to zero out this Social Security bridge that was created a number of years ago that we've been written up in the State Board of Accounts audits. We've been cited for that. This will zero it out, and we will keep it current from here on out. So that'll be one less citation.
I just wanted to make the motion.
Oh. I was going to make the motion if
I
nobody
just
was
jumped
going to
right
do
in
it.
there.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraft. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any discussion?
I'm just so happy that we're getting money back in the rainy day fund.
So am I.
Really? I was just really
I may
nervous
come back
about
to you
that.
this year and ask for
Yeah.
some of it back.
That
Like,
might be
oh,
harder.
man.
Yeah.
I won't make that motion.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, all in favor? 7-0.
Thank you.
Mileage reimbursement.
Our board policy says that we reimburse people based on the standard IRS rate, so this is just a normal thing that we do every year. And we're going from 55.5 cents per mile to 56.5 cents per mile. That one extra penny helps.
Oh yeah, that's about $20 less I'll have to pay this year. I'll take it. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Teresa. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, that's 7-0. We also have a workers' comp renewal.
Just to give you some background information, in 2012, Greater Clark Schools went to a self-insured workers' compensation insurance plan versus a fully insured plan. Our first year was very successful, costing a total of $260,000 versus our fully insured premium of $472,624 for a total savings of $212,190. On a self-insurance plan, we purchase the basic insurance package and excess insurance, and then we have to pay all the claims. In 2010, just for example, we had $357,530 in claims. In 11, it dropped to $315,362, and in 12, it dropped to $93,884. Big drops. We have instituted light duty, which brings our employees back to work as soon as possible. The administration would like to renew our workers' compensation insurance with Nice Lukens at a cost of $91,195, which is a slight increase from 2012 due to an increase in our excess insurance. So I think that's a good job.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Shadley. Is there a second? Teresa, thank you. Any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor? 7-0. Substitute bus driver pay increase.
Thank you. The Transportation Department continues to have a difficult time in recruiting and training sub-bus drivers. Currently, we have 11 subs. However, we have 6 employees off due to illness or injury. Bus driver attendance has historically been poor, which causes us to use all of our subs we have left on numerous occasions. When we have drivers off and have used all of our subs, we have to look internal and have office people or mechanics drive the buses, which takes them away from their duties. After checking surrounding school districts, I have listed below what other school corporations are paying for these services. New Albany Floyd County Schools pays $18.16 per hour. Clarksville Community $14.50 per hour. West Clark Community Schools $12.02 per hour. Madison Consolidated Schools $11.45 per hour. Greater Clark $8 per hour. Now we know why we can't get subs.
Yeah.
We are proposing an increase from $8 per hour to $13 per hour to attract a larger sub pool with an effective date of January 14th, 2013, which will be the start of the next payroll period.
Is there a motion?
Motion
So
to
moved.
approve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody jumped on that one.
Yeah. Mr. Pavey.
Second.
Second, Mr. Satterley.
Let
No.
Teresa.
Any questions or discussion?
I don't know how we got, it's amazing.
Surprised how we got any.
Yeah, that's my point. I just couldn't even get it out.
Because when I was talking to Milt, he says, well, we're out of subs again. I'm driving a bus. I says, what is our problem? And so he said, we just can't get subs. And then when Gary came on board, I says, you know what, find out what everybody else is paying. And that's what we found out. We're way under everybody else, and that's why. So. Nancy, I would have thought you would have been the one making the recommendation.
That really doesn't mean that you're going to get a whole lot of people volunteering to do it, but then yes, it's going to help. next thing we need to look at is safety of the driver. Okay, we'll seriously look at that.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Deichel, you were up there a long time. Under board reports, tonight we're going to do our annual committee appointments. And I made a list. I had to cheat. We'll start at the end with Mr. Hall. He'll be taking the Indiana School Board Association nominating committee appointment, as well as a seat on the finance committee. And we appreciate you being willing to do that. Thank you. Ms. Perkins will be taking, she's actually fulfilling a seat on the strategic planning committee. She'd already started as a citizen. We'll just keep you right on going. She's also taking an appointment with a new diversity committee that the superintendent will be implementing. And also, she'll become our bargaining and negotiations liaison. So thank you, Ms. Perkins. Mr. White will be filling a seat with the Jeffersonville Redevelopment Committee. It's a non-voting appointment, but certainly opinions are welcome and encouraged. And also, the superintendent will be forming a parent advisory committee that Mr. White has volunteered to serve on as well. So thank you for that, Mr. White.
Welcome.
Mrs. Kraft will be fulfilling a role that she's already been in for the last year and seems to enjoy it very much, so we appreciate her continuing in the role as our ISBA Legislative Committee representative. Mr. Satterley will continue his field of expertise on our Finance Committee. We appreciate that. Mr. Pavey will continue his appointment to the Strategic Planning Committee. And he will also we made some changes on our Education Foundation from 3 to 1. Mr. Pavey has agreed to serve as that liaison for this year. We thank you for that. And then finally myself, I'll continue my appointment on the Strategic Planning Committee. I'll continue my appointment on the Insurance Committee, since that's a field I know a little something about. And also I will be filling Mr. Gilbert's vacancy on the Charlestown Redevelopment Board. And so we'll all have a busy year, and appreciate your all's willingness to serve in those capacities. Thank you very much. Any public comments tonight? Okay. Board comments. This might be a new record. Mr. Hall?
I just want my wife and daughters here tonight. I appreciate them coming. One board meeting down, several to go. Thank you.
You want to stand up, Pam? Ms. Perkins?
I just appreciate the opportunity to serve in Greater Clark County Schools, and I hope that we can get some great things done for the school corporation. Thanks.
Mr. White?
Echoing what Teresa said, I appreciate the opportunity that the people have given me to serve you and serve the corporation, and I look for a lot of great things over the next few years. Thank you.
Mrs. Kraft?
Yes, thank you all for coming.
Mr. Satterley?
I want to say I thank everybody for coming, and also for the excellent communication that we got from everyone, central administration, superintendent, everybody. I think 7-0 on everything was correct, and that's just merely a function of communication. So I appreciate it.
Mr. Pavey?
Well, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome our two new board members, and we're very anxious to have you aboard and hear your thoughts and opinions and help us guide this corporation to greatness. And to all the others who are still here, well, we're still here. So.
That's a good thing.
I appreciate the opportunity to serve another 4 years, and I definitely appreciate the opportunity to serve as your president. Thank you very much for that. Welcome officially to Teresa and Tony. Glad to have you. And I, too, am looking forward to some great things happening for our students in Greater Clark. So with that, Dr. Mellon, we're going to turn it over to you.
Well, I just want to share a couple of things with you very quickly. You remember, Board, that you approved the purchase of some space on an electronic billboard on I-65, and that just went live recently, and we have actually 8 slots that will rotate through, but currently we have 4 running. We have 3 more that are ready to go, and so this first one up here on the very top, again, these I think are in 8-second intervals, so they rotate every 8 seconds. And again, you have traffic moving at 55 miles per hour
supposedly.
on I-65.
Well, they do there.
Yeah, they do there.
The state police, yeah.
And so these appear, these are the first 2. They're already running, and they will appear on both sides of the billboard. And again, quick messages, so we are trying to focus on key messages, and I really appreciate the work of Aaron Bajorquez putting these together. We want to keep it consistent in terms of the color scheme so people can easily recognize it, and also want to keep the messages very brief. We have our premiere week coming up January 28th through February 1st, and we'll give you more information on that, but basically we're inviting the community, interested families, to come into our schools and visit during that week to encourage their enrollment in our schools. The Education Foundation, this is the next one that's running currently. Again, that message that students are getting high school credit, and through our advanced placement process, the foundation has been kind enough to pay for that support. So the foundation is there. And then I believe these next 2 are ready to run. They're not running currently, but they're ready to run. I just saw them today. But we need more bus drivers and substitute teachers. And then this next one, we're making one minor adjustment: safe schools, excellent academics, and outstanding extracurricular opportunities will be listed there. That adjustment we just made today. And then 98% of 8th graders earn high school credit in middle school. That's those students who are taking Algebra 1 in middle school. They're earning that Algebra 1 high school credit. So we're, again, quick messages, trying to be very positive. We're getting great visibility, and we're going to keep tracking and hope. Again, if we retain a student or get a new student, that's roughly $5,400. We're paying, I think, $6,600 for 3 months. We have 3 months of these rotating through, and we can change these at any time we want. So if we, 2 weeks from now, if we feel like that message we want to change, we want to promote something else, we can easily do it because it's electronic. So hopefully it'll be something that sort of sets us apart a little bit and encourages more people to take interest in our school system. I want to thank our facilities department. Our facilities department has worked over the past several weeks under the leadership of Mr. Hobgood. We've made a transition with our alternative education program being repositioned fully, our middle school program fully at the Auxiliary Services building. So under the direction and assistance of Mr. Hare and the leadership of Mr. Hobgood in terms of facilities, our Auxiliary Services team, facilities department, has moved to River Valley. There was some construction they had to do there. They did it themselves. Our facilities department did all the moves. We have 2 classrooms now, 2 new classrooms set up at Auxiliary Services. Technology is there in those buildings. We have teachers that have transitioned from, both of them came out of River Valley. They are now repositioned at Clark County Middle High. We have a counselor on board there as well as Mr. Sexton as an administrator. So the work that went in to that getting done, Mr. Hare, Mr. Hobgood, in terms of their coordination, their leadership, outstanding. The fact that we were ready to roll and have those students ready to start there yesterday, I just thought that was deserving of a thank you. And then also the local law enforcement and our fire officials, because we've been working behind the scenes for many weeks, especially since the regrettable incident in Connecticut, and we're getting great support and cooperation, and we'll be providing you with more information related to that in future board meetings. But we're just so fortunate to get that level of support, and wanted to make sure we recognize that. And I'm looking forward to working with this board and welcome our 2 new board members, and thank you for such a good meeting.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Mr. White, thank you. All in favor? Good night.